What's up, guys? This is Raul Espinoza with the Iowa Entrepreneur. Today, my special guest is Kevin Harrington with Leaning Tower Pizza here in Uptown. Hey, Kevin.
How's it going today, Raul?
Pretty good. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thanks for having me on. This is fun.
Yeah, and so we were talking a bit earlier, and you said you've never been on a podcast, but you've been on radio, right?
I've been on radio. I have a face for radio. So
there you go.
Yeah, everybody's heard that before, and I definitely fit that bill.
Perfect.
I've done some TV spots too, things for the Ankeny Chamber Association, Uptown Association, business, etc. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to start things off by asking you, who was Kevin Harrington before Leaning Tower Pizza? What did you do before you ended up going into the pizza world?
Yeah, well, let's see. What did I do before I ended up going in the pizza world? Well, I started in the pizza world at the age of 15. So there's not a lot of room before that.
Okay, so you've known pizza your whole life pretty much.
Yeah, 35 years now. So,
wow.
Which just obviously gave you my age too. But
that's right.
So yeah, at the age of 15, I started working for Godfather's Pizza down in Des Moines.
Oh, nice.
And that's where I got my start as a dishwasher. And a couple of years later, a year later, I was an assistant manager, and a year after that, I was their store manager. Something like that.
So Godfather's Pizza, huh?
Yep, long time. That was a franchise, and a great franchise at that. They were they had 6 stores at the time in their franchise. And so they were relatively locally owned. And a great franchise to work for of the corporation, obviously. Mm-hmm. So we didn't interact a lot with the corporation, but obviously we used their product and learned their operations, et cetera. So it was a great experience. It's really what kind of launched me into doing what I'm doing today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So after you started dishwasher and then managed, did you ever end up making pizza at some point?
Oh yeah.
You did plenty of pizza making?
Always, yeah. Even today as an owner, I still get in there and make pizzas. Yeah. So it's it's a passion I love. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Obviously as an owner, I have a few more responsibilities.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So I try to employ folks to do that for me.
Okay.
But I still want to get in there with them and then make them understand, this is what it's all about. And I'm here to do it with you, not tell you how to do it. I mean, tell you how to do it, but not tell you have to do this.
Yeah. That's really interesting that it's been part of your life for so long that now it's not like I need to do this to make money. I'm only doing this for the money. It's more just you love what you do. You love what you do. And
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's like any job, there's trying times,
ups and downs.
Definitely so, but working with people and in the public, et cetera, it's a lot of great fun. There's been a lot of fun experiences, a lot of great relationships made because of the restaurants that I've worked in. Or owned, and it's just it's an amazing experience. It's affected me in my life greatly, and my family even. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, well, let's dive into Leaning Tower Pizza here. So I was reading up a little bit on it, and it started out in Des Moines, from what I saw. I don't know where exactly in Des Moines in the 1960s.
Correct.
And then it moved to Ankeny in the 70s.
Correct.
So, do you know a little bit of how it was like, what it was like when it was in Des Moines, and like why it moved to Ankeny?
Yeah, sure do. Yeah. So the original owners were the Beebe family.
Okay.
The Beebes, they were essentially from Polk City, and it was Chuck and Colette that started it down in the Des Moines area. They were kind of by Mercy Hospital, if you will, 6th and Forest or 6th and University area.
Okay.
Roughly. I'm not going to give you, I couldn't tell you the exact building, but and it was also, some people might remember the Why Not Grill. They were not too far from there. You're a little young for that, Raul.
I don't remember that. I don't know. So
but anyhow, it's it was an old haunt back then. And as a matter of fact, when I went to originally purchase Leaning Tower in 2001, my mother said, "Oh, that's the Leaning Tower that was down on 6th Avenue."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, yes, it is." And she's
so
like,
it has
"Oh my
some
gosh,
history there.
It really does have some history." So, but yeah, so then they moved up to Ankeny in the mid 70s. They had both locations going for a little while, as I understand it from the family.
Okay.
And then they eventually shuttered the one down in the Des Moines area, just to focus on this one up here.
The one in Ankeny.
Yep. And then they originally were in what's now Woodlaw office. Is that right? Woodlaw? Yeah. So
yes.
It's Woodlaw office, right?
Yep.
Next to,
right across the street from you.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Kind of on the opposite side of the alley. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next to Megan there at Therapeutic
Sure.
Massage. So, and so then they were in there for a while, and then they moved across the street into the mid 80s, and have been in that building ever since. And that's obviously when I took over, it was in 2001.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know. So, during that time, it was passed on down from basically the mother and father through the kids, essentially. For example, Karen had it, the daughter had it in the 70s/80s. She's the one that moved it into the current location.
Sure.
And then eventually she sold to her youngest brother, Brett. And Brett and his future wife at the time, I don't think they were married when they had it. Maybe they were, I don't know. It's kind of irrelevant, I guess.
Sure.
But they basically then took it from the last 10 or 12 years until I bought it in 2001, and that's when I bought it. It's from Brett and Cheryl. Yep.
So is that something you kind of you've known the history of it and you're like, this is a great opportunity for you, and I'm going to take it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, with Fall Foods, it was like I said, it was a franchise. So that's when they had 6 stores, there was a relatively small corporation, if you will.
Okay.
Godfather's obviously is a massive corporation, but as a piece of that, it was small. There was only 2 people above me in that business and at Godfather's in that franchise. And both of those gentlemen were pretty young at the time. Sure. And there wasn't a lot of room left for me to grow. And the
you sort of started feeling that?
Oh, I definitely felt it. Yeah. The challenges were becoming more and more difficult to create. So, you know what I mean? So, it became very easy for me to do my job, which I can't do that. I've got to be challenged.
You got to challenge it
yourself. And so everybody does, I think, in my opinion. Keep yourself lively.
I think most entrepreneurs try to do that.
Definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so when we heard about Leaning Tower being it made sense to buy it. It was a good fit, a lot of homemade products, which is kind of different from the corporation type environment that I came from, but it was good stuff.
Clearly it was a good choice, by the way. Yeah. You're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
So you've owned 18, it for 18 years, right?
Yeah. I'm going on 19. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, I love Leaning Tower. It's like just totally different. The taste, everything is just, it's so unique. Yes. And that's what I love about it. Has the recipe or anything has always been kind of the same pizza?
It has always been the same. Definitely. Even from the previous owners into my ownership. As a matter of fact, the day one we took over, I will say that when I was asking them about the sauce spice recipe, which I literally blend my own spices in the basement of the location in Uptown.
Love that sauce.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm down there. Well, this is a podcast, so I can pretty much say what I want, I guess.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
For a reference point, I'm a little like Walter White.
Okay.
I'm down there with my mask on, and gloves on, and I have the scale out, and I'm mixing all my spices, and I'm the only one that knows that recipe.
Yeah.
So when I took over from the BBs, the original owner, Brett, I was asking him what's the ingredients and the spices, of course, because there's a part of the contract. They had to, give that to me.
Fork it over.
Yep, exactly. And nice pun there, Marvel. So he said, "Oh, it's a little of this, it's a little of that, it's a little of this, it's a little of that." And while he knew all of the actual ingredients going into it, his family had never really bothered
to measure things.
To measure, yeah, which is kind of old school, and that makes
pinch of this, a pinch of that,
and that makes it good as well. But when you get into the restaurant business, especially if you plan to grow, you kind of need to make things a little more consistent. Yes, definitely. A little more organized, a little more streamlined so that everybody can kind of work with it.
100%.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it all started. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to take over those first few days, and those first few months were interesting and exciting and scary and everything else. So yeah, definitely.
So I really wanted to ask you this because working in the food industry, you probably see it. You see it every day, you smell it every day, you have it every day. So do you still have a favorite pizza of yours?
Well, I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can you share with us which one it is?
Yeah, I'm not the smallest chicken in the barnyard, obviously, but not obvious to their podcast listeners. But
yep.
But anyhow, so years ago when I was at Godfather's, I created one that I just liked, and it was with a spicier sauce and sausage and pepperoni and then mixed cheese, cheddar and mozzarella mixed together.
Nice.
And I carried that forward. But when I owned my own restaurant, then I was actually using the sausage that I make, because we make our own sausage inside the restaurants. I don't order from some bag sausage or frozen sausage. Yeah. No offense to that, but this is what we do.
This is what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes you different.
That's correct. Yep, exactly. And then I had to create a spicier sauce. And so that was my first kind of dive into creating my own recipe, if you will. So, they had their main sauce recipe, but I had to create something for my signature pizza.
Yourself.
Yep, exactly. And so that signature pizza is known as the Harrington pizza.
That's my favorite one.
Yep, exactly. So it's like I said, our homemade sausage with
that one's amazing.
Pepperoni and spicier sauce, and cheddar and mozzarella cheese. So.
Yeah. So for you guys listening, if you've never been, go tonight and grab the Harrington. You won't, if you're a meat lover, you're gonna love it. It does have some spice to it, but that's what I like. It's not too much of a kick that I can't have the rest of the pizza.
Right.
And it's just right. So
yeah,
I don't know. That one and the Potter, I still lean towards the Harrington.
Yeah.
But the Potter's a good one.
Those are our two biggest sellers, definitely. Really? And then that zippy or zesty sauce, as we call it, we like to say it'll put some zip in your lip, but it won't knock your socks off.
That's a perfect way to say it.
Yeah. And
it is delicious.
It really is. And I have the physique to show it.
So do I guess technically.
I like to tell people I'm a product of my product.
Yeah. So you have countless other things than just pizza. Can you go over your menu a little bit for the listeners who might want to give it a try?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things you just touched on was a Potter pizza, and I'll kind of throw back to the historical reference on that. So as I understand it from the previous owners, because that pizza was already on the menu when I purchased the restaurant.
Okay.
And so the previous owners it was one of their early customers, and his name was Mr. Potter. His last name was Potter. So I don't know anything else about him.
Just his name.
Yep. And he was the one that created that pizza because that was his favorite pizza, right? And that's where a lot of these kind of...
a lot of meat in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of meat. There's definitely 3 different, you have sausage and beef and ham, and then you have 5 different vegetables on top of that.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It is. It's a lot of food, but it's great, It's a good combination. One of the things that's on there, a lot of people don't usually see in a pizza restaurant, at least, is celery. And
that's true.
Yeah, and it doesn't really provide. Obviously, celery is not an overly flavorful product, but it does provide a nice little touch and a little bit of crunch also at the same time. But yeah, so the Potter was named after him, and of course we had to keep that namesake pizza. That just made sense. It was a part of the menu. It was part of the history. So
that's awesome.
So that's perfect. Yeah, definitely. So that's how that came about. Some of the other items we have our homemade pastas, and we have our sandwiches, and of course we have quite a few appetizers. Our homemade pastas, one of our bigger sellers, is our cavatelli. Now, I will say it's a great product, but I got to make a little footnote here. It's not a true cavatelli because for those of the Italian heritage listening, they're going to think, well, cavatelli should have gnocchi noodles in it. And correct, it should. But gnocchi noodles are a very labor-intensive product to make. And the ones you can buy, in my opinion, some are great, some are not. But we just use a simple medium pasta shell. But it's still a great dish. It's served casserole style. With our noodles with the noodles and our sauce and our marinara sauce because we have that as well. Yeah. And then we have it, cheese over the sausage and a little bit of garlic in there, all sorts of good stuff. Yeah. We top it, like I said, with cheese. And then we put our special little mix on there that we call fairy dust. It's a blend of spices that we put on top of every one of our pizzas and some of our pastas because it makes everything magical.
It tastes so good. Yeah.
So, then we bake it in a cast iron dish. So, and it's a lot of it comes out great. So, so that's one of the items, or some of the items, I should say. Some of our appetizers, the bigger sellers, you probably know, are the onion rings.
Those are good.
Yeah. So, homemade onion rings, we go through about 250 to 300 pounds of onions a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
300 pounds.
That's a whole lot of onions. Yeah. So, my staff, gosh, I tell you, I owe a lot to them over the years, but when it comes to cutting those onions, I think I owe them a little more. So they cut a lot. So
I will say every time I go in, your staff is just it's like well trained. They're very friendly, very genuine. They're not like having to forcefully be nice. You could tell they're just having a good time.
That's the hope. Yeah. Definitely.
And so every time I walk in, it's always a good experience.
Good. Glad to hear that. Yeah. We definitely, like any restaurant though, or any business, we definitely hit our bumps. There's no doubt about that. When we do make those mistakes, and we just ask the customers to make us aware of it, and we'll certainly take care of it right away. We don't always catch everything. There's, we are human after all, but we certainly strive for perfection, but we understand that we will make a mistake from time to time.
Yeah. Well, and now that we're on the subject of the menu, you started the gluten-free option this year?
We did. Yes, exactly right.
Okay.
Yep.
And a lot of people always ask in a lot of different restaurants. So kind of what gave you the idea that, man, I really need to do this because, I may be losing some business and I really want to take care of my customers. So.
Sure. Well, actually, to be honest with you, it was a real struggle. For years, I had decided, no, we weren't going to do it.
Okay.
But what really made me, of course, kind of eventually do it is because there are so many people out there with celiacs and we had so many requests. And of course, everybody pretty much knows if you're following any type of internet feeds at all, celiacs is huge. And people need a gluten-free option, a lot of them out there. So really it was societal choice as well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the actual product, the reason I was fighting it so much and not wanting to do it is because I was concerned about the liability of it, to be honest. As a business owner, we have to look at everything from a liability standpoint.
Cleaning the space where pizza is made, I'm sure you had to try and figure out where.
Well, actually, I'll be honest with you. I mean, cleaning obviously is a huge part of any restaurant, yes. Okay. But I'll be honest with you. So we have a gluten-free crust. It's a cauliflower-based crust. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Van and Bonnie. They were nice enough to talk about my restaurant a few weeks ago on WHO TV.
Wow.
And Van, as most people know, I believe he likes the cauliflower crust as well. And so, but anyhow, we have a gluten-free crust, yes, cauliflower-based, but it is a gluten-friendly environment. We cannot guarantee gluten-free.
Okay.
Every single pizza we actually make kind of old school style. It's on an actual pizza peel.
Okay.
And as a product, as a release agent, we put flour underneath every single pizza peel or underneath pizza on the peel so that it slides off into our deck ovens. That flour then, of course, gets airborne. It also is in our ovens, and so there could be some residual contact with some of those gluten-free items. We do our very best to keep it separated by putting it on a gluten-free pan, if you will.
Sure.
But there's still no guarantee that it's gluten-free.
Yeah.
Gluten-friendly. Yeah.
Sure.
So most people can adjust to that and understand that, a lot of people don't have that severe of an allergy to it, so we can make it work.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate that you ended up doing that, because hearing about your business all the time, I know they would want to try that. And speaking to Brett earlier about it, he said there's a big community out there, and the minute they go into a restaurant and they don't, you tell them we don't carry gluten free, they tell their friends that are in that community, and they never stop by.
That's correct.
But now that they know, it's like nice to have that option there as well.
It very much is so. As a matter of fact, I need to update my website now that I think about it.
Yeah.
So
I visited that this morning, and it looks like you're also wanting to hire a few folks.
Always.
So it's been pretty busy there lately.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, restaurant is always it tends to be a revolving door sometimes for certain levels of staff. Thankfully, we are very, very blessed and just I'm overwhelmed with great employees essentially for many, many years. It's been wonderful. But we are growing always, and this Uptown location is just exploding. We obviously, some of you might know, we added the DMAC location, as I think you know.
They deliver, right?
We deliver out of that one, yes, correct. Not out of the Uptown
awesome.
one, but yeah, we do delivery out of that one. We do our catering out of that one. We also serve the DMAC students and staff out of that one as well. And of course, it's open to the general public because
That's incredible.
It's in that same building as Trail Point Aquatic Center. So it's been a great addition for us. But we need staff at both locations always. Sure. Yeah, so definitely, it's I have some great solid staff. I have a lot of people who've been with me for a long time. My GM Hillary has been with me for 7 years, and she's essentially family. And then I've got people like, oh gosh, I go on and on. Morgan Olson, Justine Rinker, Jasmine Yukon, and then you go to the kitchen, you go to Ron Hawk and Michael Stocks, and the list goes on and on and on again. But some of those people have been with me. Well, Ron and I have worked together off and on for 23 years.
Wow.
He used to work for me at Godfather's. I hired him when he was 17 years old. He's now 40.
Wow.
So
time flies,
really.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got a lot of great staff that have been with me a long time, and that longevity is really what makes our service click as well as it does.
Oh, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Well, now that Uptown, for you guys listening who don't know, it's on Southwest 3rd here in Ankeny, right by 1st Street and Ankeny Boulevard. And it's just exploding. A lot of businesses are coming in. We got, Uptown Garage, who sponsors this podcast here. We're in their conference room right now. Every time I come in during business hours, I see leaning pizza boxes everywhere.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that is affecting your business in a positive way.
Oh, definitely.
And so it's nice to see that when a business comes in, it's not very competitive. It's mutual.
Right.
There's a lot of friendly competition, of course, but everyone benefits each other from being here.
Oh, immensely, yeah. I mean, a lot of people think, oh gosh, no, I don't want another pizza or another pizza restaurant or another competitor of the same type of industry in my area. Well, if you have to kind of open your mind a little bit and realize what that'll do is it'll bring more people to the area overall. Of
course.
And eventually they'll try yours, even though you may have started out at a different one. Yeah. For example, Uptown Food and Beverage down the street with Dennis Gibson.
Yep.
He's a great guy. He's got a great product.
Amazing menu too.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I'm not going to sit here and bash him like some people would or whatever. That's just not the way you do it. It's Dennis is a wonderful person, and his staff are good people, and
very hardworking gentleman.
Exactly right. Yeah. So there's good food there, and to top it all off, he's an Uptown partner. You know what I mean? And so being here in Uptown Ankeny over the years, it's been great to see the growth like you just talked about. It's been amazing to see the growth. And yes, it has positively affected my restaurants.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Uptown Garage is no exception to that, even in their short time. Yeah.
Yeah, they opened in August, and here we are, doing this podcast in their building. So
yeah, exactly right.
So, and then for those who are listening that don't know, you're involved heavily in the Uptown district, not just, in your business. So if you guys are ever by during Christmas, you'll see Kevin usually emceeing the ugly sweater contest. He does an amazing job. He's involved in a lot of business here in Uptown, helping it grow. So thank you for doing that and helping the community.
Oh yeah. It's one thing I believe strongly in, that you have to give back to those who support you as well.
Sure.
And emceeing that ugly sweater contest is just a lot of fun. It
was a good time. This year was a really good one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a great show. There was a lot of fun sweaters in there, a lot of fun people. I tend to rib people to try to get the crowd going, et cetera.
Do a good job.
I'm an Irishman who likes to gab. So,
yeah,
it's a lot of fun for me to do. I kind of took it over the top with my suit this year.
I think everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
So I need to post that to the Leaning Tower Facebook page, so everybody can either lose their lunch over or laugh at it.
Yeah. Speaking of community, you had a little post that went a little viral lately this last week.
Yes, we did. Can
you talk a little bit about it and what your thoughts are on that?
Yeah, I sure can. So I guess I'll preface everything with saying the reason I do this, or the reason my staff and I do this, is quite simple. It's not for notoriety whatsoever. We don't use it as an advertising ploy, although it certainly has garnered some social attention this week.
It has.
I've been very hesitant about some of the things that it's brought to me or to us. But what we do is every year, we've done this about 15 years, maybe a little less than that, I can't recall. We will give out a Christmas card at random to a table or 3 or 4 pretty much every night, starting the Friday after Thanksgiving up until New Year's Day. And and in this card, it essentially says, Happy Holidays. We'd like to thank you for dining with us tonight. And in the spirit of giving, we are going to comp your meal this evening. It's on us.
Wow.
And, excuse me, my voice cracked like Peter Brady there.
That's all right.
But yeah, it says, we're, in the spirit of giving, we'd like to provide your meal. It's on us tonight. And then we hope that you can think about how you can pay it forward to somebody else in your community or some other organization. And it took off this week, definitely. But the cards themselves is really the neat part. The actual cards I bought years ago, I can't even remember how many I bought, quite a few, 500 or something like that. And we're actually starting to run out. I have to get more. But, and so the cards actually they have Christmas type designs on them, snowflakes or winter scenes, things like that.
Okay.
And all these designs were drawn by children all the way from probably age 2 up to the age of 18, roughly, who have cancer and are a part of the Children's Cancer Connection here in Des Moines.
Okay.
And that organization does amazing work to help those families that are, facing their child having cancer, which we all know is something nobody should ever face. No. So the cards themselves were actually, drawn by them, and we just put the message inside, and with the hopes that maybe that's one option that those people who receive a free meal could give back to Cancer Connection.
Awesome.
So so it's been a really neat program to do for years and years and years. It's, I get tingles thinking about it because we've been doing it so long. I think about all the stories and all the people that we've seen their reactions.
Yeah.
And, for us as servers and employees, we'll have a server who will say, hey, I'm going to go give this card to table number 8 or whatever, the couple at table number 8 or the organizer or the group at table 10 or whatever. And she'll come back and he or she'll come back to the counter area, and we'll kind of huddle around the front window and we'll watch them open the card. Awesome. And that is the best part. Yeah, getting that reaction. And then they look up
priceless.
With bewilderment, like, what is going on? They can't quite figure out, this doesn't make sense. I'm expecting to have a credit card receipt in here.
I think it's a prank, maybe.
Right, exactly. Wow. Where's the camera? All that type of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun to see that. And then you'll get everything from just immense joy to tears of joy. Of
course.
It's really great, and so we've had a lot of fun with it over the years.
It kind of starts a ripple effect, because I was kind of looking into where it's reached and everything. And some of the comments some people were saying is, it was so incredible. Some people from like even 2009 were saying they would pick up after they got done eating and go buy some stuff for the shelter or right immediately afterwards, because they're in that spirit of giving that you guys gave to them. So
exactly,
it's just a ripple effect. And that's just amazing to have seen that. I saw it this morning. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. It's just by chance that we're going to have a podcast today and talk about it. So.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It really has. And it's a program I'll never stop doing, but it's also a program I just want everybody to understand that, even the Des Moines Register called me last week when they heard it was starting to kind of take off, if you will, on social media.
Yep.
And the first thing I told the reporter was, I'm not going to do this interview unless you absolutely make this clear that I'm not doing this for notoriety.
Of course.
My only goal here is to make sure that other people maybe are inspired to do other things as well.
Yeah.
And pay it forward. And she said that this is your chance to do that. So I agreed to do it kind of hesitantly, but I did it.
I think it's a good thing, because a lot of people, there's some people, they're cynics, or just say, he's just doing it but you've been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah, a long time.
You wouldn't do it for 15 years if you weren't doing it out of your heart,
Correct.
So, and that's kind of why, people might think, oh, it just got lucky and it went viral, but Kevin's been doing it for 15 years, guys. So I don't think...
Yeah, pretty much every year somebody will post on Facebook about it. In the last, 8 or 10 years, I suppose somebody's probably always posted, oh, look at this nice gesture, etc. But for whatever reason, this year it took off a little bit more than usual. So, and that's fine. That's great. Maybe that many more people can donate to Children's Cancer Connection or the local Nevlin Center or a shelter or whatever, anything in the area or of Des Moines area. It'd be great.
Well, now that we're on the subject of social media, can you just give us maybe like your website and ways people can reach to you if they want to do something for charity or just ask about your pizzas? Where can they go and find you?
Yeah, definitely. The easiest way to get in touch with us, of course, like you already mentioned, is our website. Has all of our pertinent information on there, and that is simple, ltpizza.com.
Okay.
Obviously, the L for leaning and the T for tower. And so, ltpizza.com. And you can find out just about everything you want about both of our locations. Both of our social media things are on there as well. Instagram, Facebook, handles, etc. So we're on Facebook, of course, as Leaning Tower of Pizza. The Uptown location is Leaning Tower of Pizza. The DMAC location is Leaning Tower of Pizza at DMAC Ankeny campus. So it's a little bit long there, but we kind of had to do that.
And then your address for people who want to drive up tonight?
You bet. Yeah. If you're going to drive up here, we're at 512 Southwest 3rd Street in Ankeny, Iowa. It's 50023. Our phone number here at the Uptown location is 515-964-0401. Our DMAC location, which does the delivery, is 515-963-0403. And they are located in Building 5 on the DMAC Ankeny campus.
Well, thanks, Kevin. We're going to end with one question I typically ask. I'm going to start asking every entrepreneur on this podcast. Great. And it is, what is the definition of entrepreneur for you?
The definition of entrepreneur for me.
Mm-hmm. Like, what's your definition?
Yeah. Gosh, that's a great question and a short amount of time to answer. I didn't get any preface time. That's okay. I like that. I can work well off the cuff. But I will tell you, one of the things I think about as an entrepreneur most often is, I already touched on a little bit earlier, is to provide a work environment, especially for the people that I employ, which tend to be a demographic of roughly 15 to 25 years old. Provide a work environment for them that's fun, that's safe, that allows them to grow, that will teach them foundation pieces for when they leave and go on to a different job in their future, that they'll look back and they'll think, I remember this instance happening at Leaning Tower, and Kevin or his manager is saying, here's how we handle that type of thing. So for me, it's helping other people grow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. So it's a lot of fun.
Well said, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Raul. It was a pleasure. Yep, same to you.